I met Owen when we were children. We were actually childhood friends. Well, Owen was always active with everything we were doing at R.S. Payne and Dunbar. I was surprised, first of all, that the decision was made for him and Linda Woodruff to integrate glass. I was pleased that he was doing it. I was encouraged by his courage to do it. At the same time, frankly, I was concerned about his welfare because of the amount of hostility that there was around the whole notion of school integration at that time. It's important. Owen and Linda, as a matter of fact, really opened the gates up for what ultimately became the civil rights movement in the Lynchburg area. The lasting impact of that, I think we see now with the school system the way that it is, the amount of diversity that we have in the school system, albeit that some of the problems that were brought on by segregation kind of stay with us. The fact is we've made tremendous amounts of stride that we would not have been able to make had Owen not done what he did.
I thought it was absolutely wonderful. When I learned that he was the first African-American male to integrate EC Glass High School, I was already kind of in awe. I've spent time coaching at EC Glass High School, so I kind of know the demographic and the culture of the school, and to know that during that time where it wasn't as welcome, where he was one of the pioneers who was brave enough to actually take those steps to help move us forward. I think it's wonderful. I think everything that he's done for this community, whether it's pastor in Diamond Hill Baptist Church, whether it's leading the Emerging Grassroots Leadership Program, or whether it's here at the University of Lynchburg, I think that it speaks volumes to the man that he is and to the heart that he has.
Well, of course, the civil rights movement was going on, and the focus at that time was school desegregations. My father was involved with the NAACP, and a new pastor named Virgil Wood had been in town for about a year. He was involved with SCLC and Dr. Martin Luther King, and a call was put out for students that wanted to participate in a lawsuit to sue the school system to desegregate the schools, because we were operating under the pupil placement board at that time. Applications had been made and turned down for transfer, and so the lawsuit was thought to be the way to go. And ultimately, the lawsuit was called Jackson et al. Versus Lynchburg City Schools. So that was what prompted the desegregation efforts. But Linda and I went January 29, 1962. And fortunately or unfortunately, I wasn't satisfied at simply being a school desegregator. I got involved as a youth leader in the civil rights movement, and we participated in opening up the Warner and Paramount Theater, S&W Cafeteria. I participated in the planning to desegregate the schools. My journey at Glass was a bit choppy because I wasn't just there as a desegregator. The newspaper called me an agitator and a communist. Well, that accompanied with two encounters that I had the privilege of having with Dr. Martin Luther King. One was kind of upfront and personal, and the other was more from a distance. When he came here to Lynchburg to support the desegregation efforts, after his speech at EC Glass, we had a chance to go back to Dr. Jackson's house and sit in the floor and sing freedom songs, and so I had a chance to be in his presence. And then my father, in the summer of '63, August of 1963, took me to the March on Washington. I was far away in the crowd from Dr. King, but I could hear the iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. I think those two things kind of launched me on a career. I accepted a call to the ministry later on, and as part of my ministerial responsibility, I became more involved in community engagement types of activities. I have the privilege of being the Roselle Schule chair for education and humanities, a distinguished professor's chair there, and co-director with Dr. Roger Jones of the Center for Leadership. And I've been here back home now for about 4 years, and we've been very active at the Center for Leadership. We created this collaborative called Lynchburg Tomorrow that focused on Diamond Hill, White Rock Hill, Fairview Heights neighborhoods. We had a class that's just finishing now of emerging grassroots leaders. They're finishing their capstone now. We've been involved with a couple of grant opportunities with what we call the Good Gangs Initiative, that's designed to diminish the what's going on with the guns and gangs, also to decrease the social distance between police. And I hate the term at-risk youth, but that's the verbiage that was used. I believe that youth are in at-risk environments, but they're not at risk themselves. I think the work that Interfaith is doing is actually critical, because if you want to talk about silos, the faith community is a very siloed community, and Interfaith gives us the opportunity to come together around the table and increase the impact that we're having in the community. So I appreciate all the work that Interfaith is doing.